So this last stone is the Uchigamori. And the Uchigamori, as I perhaps alluded to, is more for Japanese sword polishers than it is for knife sharpening. But I spent a little bit of time in Japan with those guys, and I ended up kidding myself up and practicing some of the stuff. I'm not a good sword polisher, but I'm using what I have. This is a really high grit stone. It's natural. I'm actually going to use the other side of it. It's a natural stone. It's been prepared. I've used it before. I hate to talk about grits with natural stones because by nature they vary. But it's a high grit stone. It's a higher grit than what I would really normally use. But these are the knives, again, I'm just finishing up and putting out the door. So, I don't mind doing this. I'm using a 1200 platen. I've just jumped in terms of how fine this platen is to get this surface prepped. And it's already creating a lot of suction. So like I said, it was prepared. It's ready to go. And that should do it. And I'm really only going to be passing the knife along a few times. And that's just to finalize this edge, and then I'll be stropping it on some leather. So this is really like glass for the most part in terms of how the knife feels on the stone. I'm really just, this is more polishing than sharpening at this point. And I'm just getting that secondary bevel. If there is any irregularity to it, I'll be solving that right now. The aim is to go for long strokes possible. Always easier if your surface is nice and even, of course. Otherwise, essentially not possible. I'm really not looking to raise a burr. Again, this is polishing the knife really. So I'm going to switch it over to the other side. Hit that angle. It's such a beautiful stone. They're very expensive as well. I have a few of them that I use, but I'm really cautious with how I use them. If I were to run a normal series of stone, this would be the final stone for sure, but you could stop at 1200 easily. This is jumping into the 3,000 to 5,000 range, which again makes a really nice edge, but not 100% necessary for a working knife. And that is a gorgeous edge right there. So I'm going to set this aside and do the other knife. And that stone really makes a nice final edge. So from here I'm going to strop the knife. Stropping is a really final stage. You could actually it's usually made of leather. I'm sure there's other materials that you could use, but leather's pretty good. And you could load it with compound. You could load it with something you'd put in a polishing wheel, which will give it a little bit of extra cut, which is actually something I do with the strops that I make for certain projects. And that is a wonderful edge. Thanks for watching a video. If you have any interest in seeing more, you can find me on social media. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube, I'm even on Twitter. If you have an interest in maybe getting a knife yourself, by all means go to the website and stay tuned for more.